Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Real Things Podcast. It's a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning on the outside. Partly cloudy, as you can see from behind me, but it's still a beautiful tropical island morning. Believe me, I do. I do. I do. Without you, there's no me. Without me, there's no you. You don't know how it goes. So I do. I do. I do. All right, my people, welcome back to the pod. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. You don't know. Nice and sweet as how we do it all the time. And for those of you who are returning for the umpteenth time, welcome, welcome back. Alright, you don't know how we do it here on the pod. Today we're gonna take you right back into Nyabohanse.
You don't know on the Real Things podcast. Hey yo!
Yeah, we're taking you right back into Nyabohanse. And for those of you who are new here, you might be wondering, Nyabohanse, what's that? Where's that? Who's that? Well, Nyabohanse is a quaint little village in East Africa, Kenya, to be exact. Yes. And this is a village filled with YouTubers made known to us or brought to us by the popular YouTuber I Am Marwa and his family. No, it's a story that it will take a whole nother video, but this is for those of you who are new here. So we talk about the village of Nyabohanse from day to day. Sometimes we shift a little bit and we go to different places. There are a lot of playlists here on the podcast that you can get familiar with. All right, yes, welcome back to the show, my people. So we've seen the ceremony of the handing over of the house on Sunday. Beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And we now also saw a video yesterday of Marwa just, walking Goko, which is grandma in Swahili. I learned that like maybe the last 2 weeks. Like we've seen Goko and Brian, you know, being, shown by Marwa how like the amenities works, in like the stove and what the fridge should do. But something tells me in the back of my mind, something is telling me that grandma gets very nervous around Marwa. Actually, you can see it to be honest. You can see it. Grandma gets very nervous around Marwa. And she's more free with Priska and the ladies and even some of the YouTubers. Because I've seen a video on Daniel Mwita's channel. And Grandpa was actually what Brian was. Hello, guys. Hold on. Me running too fast. I'm running too fast. I saw a video on Daniel's channel where Brian was sitting on the floor cutting sweet potatoes, cooking rice. I think that was after Marwa showed them how to light the stove, but that was aired on Daniel's channel. And Goko, mm, I learned a few days ago that her name is Anastasia or Anastasia. Some say Stasia. I say Stasia. I mean, no, A for apple. Ah. I don't know. Whatever. I saw her in the background just being playful. She was coming to the kitchen door, and I think it was um Chacha Tales was saying something to her. Can't remember if it was Chacha or Daniel. And when they pointed the camera, she kind of she pulled back. She pulled back, and she was just being, she was just caught in that. She was just caught in that playful moment. I'm just watching something here, guys. I noticed that my microphone tend to go in the red on the equalizer. So let me just pull it down a little bit. Yes. I like to see it tipping at the yellow orangey, so I know that the volume is nice and high. I pull it down a little bit. I hope it's not too low now. Hmm. Yes. So, but people, she was very playful, and I kind of, my eyes kind of caught her just when the camera did, and I said to myself, I don't know what they said to her in Swahili, and I was saying to myself, you know, it is only that she get this tense around Maro. Why she's very free around everybody else, and maybe she feels a bit intimidated because sometimes when you feel like people have money and they have power. Let's leave it at the power. When you feel like people have power, you tend to get a little bit intimidated. Sometimes, not me, because me no know, me different. I speak to even back then how I know I was a brave soldier, the way how people would scurry along the corridors when they saw back then, when they saw the boss coming. I was the only one standing doing exactly what I was doing way before. Because I always tell myself, hey, he would have probably seen me a long time before I saw him. Why the hell am I running to? I am stubborn like that. I'm very. And I meet even the prime minister, I'm gonna say, "What go on, buddy? What go on, buddy? What go on, daddy? What go?" I just saw mistake because you know we're all equal. Anyway, back to what I was saying about Goko. Maybe she feels a little bit intimidated or somehow intimidated, but she seems to be very free around others. I saw her playing like peekaboo around the kitchen corner, by the kitchen door with one of those boys in the kitchen. When I say playing peekaboo, as I was saying earlier, she look around like this, and then when they point the camera, she do this, and she pulled back. She pulled back. So honestly, she's free spirited. I see that in her, but she's just holding back right now. Anyway, and I heard her spoke very loudly than how she speaks on Marwa's camera. Very, very loud when she talking to Priska and others. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm not, and also let me just note that I'm not trying to beat her down. You see, I'm trying to have fun with it. Play with it, play with it. I'm playing with it. Yeah. So she seems to be like this free spirited person, but maybe it's just Marwa camera or Marwa's presence. All right, so we've seen all of that. We've seen Marwa walk them around, and showed them and showed her and Brian how to be using the amenities. Now, I've seen a lot of comments, guys. Let me fix my mic a little bit. I've seen a lot of comments, honestly, about this thing, the cleanliness. I heard Maro also spoke about it, about the cleanliness of the home, how they should, the upkeeping of the home. And I've seen a lot of comments about it. Honestly, I know Marwa is nervous because it is going to play out on camera. The condition of the place, the upkeeping of the place, or the upkeep of the place is going to play out on camera. And he knows that, he may face some backlash if he doesn't induct, if he doesn't tell them, educate them how to clean up the place and make it look nice for when he comes to showcase, so it look well finished. And I agree. But what I disagree with totally, I'm going to tell you the honest truth. What I totally disagree with is some of the comments, that I see. We must about hygiene and so on and so forth. We in the West here must remember that it's a different place altogether. Marwa he has been out there. Um he himself would have battled with the same problem on numerous occasions in his own environs, because I've heard like Rocio complain a lot of times about the space, about the way how they would use things and leave it around, lying around, the garbage in the yard, so on and so forth. So if come on, let's be true to ourselves. So going back to grammar, I'm not saying all of that to say that Marwa not supposed to speak. I explained to you guys that he wants to me. This is just my observations. He wants to make sure that whenever he points that camera, I explain all of that. Do I need to explain again? Even though it's a premiere, so I understand people may join at different times. He wants to make sure that once he comes to highlight the good work that has been done by you guys, you know, and himself being the man on the ground, it needs to be when he's showcasing it, it needs to be in this mint condition. And so he will go back at them for keeping it in such a messy way. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So back to what I was saying. I don't like when people, bombard. Remember, those are boys. And I'm not saying that to say that because they're boys, they're not clean. Because, let me tell you something. I grew up in a house with my uncle. Remember, me say I grew with my great aunt. My great aunt grew me, two other cousins, and my uncle, which is my mother's brother. You understand? And you're not clean like him. You cannot cook like him. Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah. So not because they're boys, mean that they can't be clean and tidy. Of course, man gets the job done just as woman are even more than. And Jamaican men can attest to that. Jamaican men are clean and tidy for most part. And when them find a woman that lousy and don't want to do things, all hell will break loose in that home. It becomes a point where it may appear as if it's like abuse, but it's because him want things to be done a particular way, especially if him grow with him granny. Hey, hell and powder house. Anyway, so we'll see where we've seen where, you know, um the house the house actually made it to the how should I put it now? We've seen where the condition of the house made it to the comment section, many other things, but we know how it is. We know how it is, and I'm not crying you guys on, but I'm saying I'm in total disagreement. So not take on the time with the people them. Take on the time with the people them. They need time to adjust. This is a new thing. Like for me, guys, I'm gonna come and speak straight. It's a new thing. You know, even though commenting about something doesn't mean that you're an aggressor. It is when you keep coming back over and over and come re-commenting and commenting pan top of comment. That is when you becomes an aggressor and the comments becomes too aggressive. You know, and I'm seeing them. So I'm saying that we have to gradually urge them along to upkeep the place, especially even the rug on the floor. For me, I would have drawn that rug way more under the couch. Way more under the couch. The rug would have been totally back away from the walking path. Because the more that the rug is in the walking path, the dirtier that side of the rug is going to become. That is what I would have done. I wouldn't comment it anywhere. Because why? It's not my house. It is not my house. So I wouldn't have gone and make any comments. Hold on a minute, people, because we don't understand something. Yeah. I personally wouldn't have gone to drop that comment under anywhere. Yes. So we have to take our time and urge them if we want to urge them. Don't bombard them. I've seen even a situation where Brian's been wearing the clothes since Sunday. he doesn't um he doesn't operate no way different than many of our children here in the West. Uh, let me tell you something. Many of us parents, if we don't stand up on these kids, like until they will say that we're miserable, if we don't shout we wouldn't get or the results. If we don't shout for results, we wouldn't get it. So I'm seeing the comments about Brian being in the same clothes, and honestly, a lot of them pitney and a beard. A lot of them pitney, yeah. would come home from school and lay down in them uniform if they wear uniform or any kind of clothing. No mind sharp, they want to go in the bed with the shoes them on. Because the gadgets, they're distracted by these gadgets. They're distracted by everything except for the fact that they need to take care. So it is just us to urge them along. And I like the fact I've seen something. Let's stray away from the point a little bit, just a little bit from the point. I've seen something where I've seen something where uh Chacha Tales was like on numerous occasions I've seen him try to correct Brian because honestly, as a boy and as a boy, um, like Brian, meaning who is a bit stubborn here and there and been given issues, leaving the home, nobody knew where he was, going to live with a total stranger and being put to work by a total stranger and stuff like this. Now that it's been brought to the limelight, I'm seeing where on more than one occasions I've seen on Chacha Tales camera on his video where he corrected Brian even to go and take a shower and change his clothes, to wash his clothes. Yeah, go put your clothes in water and wash them. Nobody else is gonna. What Brian didn't really go anywhere, anyways, because he was still moping around. And he moved from in front of him when he said it, but he was still moping around and doing what he wanted to do. But saying all of that to say, sometimes if you don't shout, you don't get the results. You know, it's their environment, and they will have to work with him to help. Because listen, where grandma is, I know she's not that old. She's not that old, but where grandma is it's just a hard life that brought her to where she is. See how the woman look nice Sunday when she put on her clothes and titivate up. We say titivate up. She look nice, ready for the taking again. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is she's not gonna be able to manage Brian, um, because he's like it's gonna be 15 soon, right? And like a teenager, I mean, in African culture, you're supposed to be respectful, but Brian is broken. That doesn't mean also that he's too broken or gone too far that he's not redeemable. You know, um, it's gonna be hard for Grandma. In a nutshell, it's going to be hard for him to really, for her alone. Sorry, for her alone to stand up on him the way how you should with a boy child when they really mean to get stubborn, it's gonna be hard for her. She needs some help with Brian. So those boys, I'm saying all of that to get to the point. Those boys that are around that people are complaining and saying that too much people in the house, they've been there from the beginning. If it wasn't for Chacha and Daniel, Marwa wouldn't have known a lot of things about the demarcations. Grandma was nowhere to tell really much about where the things are. It was Chacha who was bringing Marwa around and explaining things. So thank God for that. Those boys were there, and that don't mean say you're gonna push them out now because it's done. You guys did a very very good job. But you know what? I'm saying all of that. But when you come to when if you should probably stop and look at it, maybe majority of people that are making noise are the ones who probably never even contributed anything. I'm sorry to say it, but I am. Because in most cases, the empty barrels are the ones that makes the most noise. So, and if I'm wrong, well, God forgive me, but and you guys would forgive me also. You guys would forgive me also. I'm trying to hold a good, sensible reasoning with you guys. Be realistic. In real life, most people like when something in an event is the ones that never contributes, or rarely is the ones that makes the most noise. The ones them who does the big thing. Them just do it and leave it right where it is and have not much to say because they know what they did. It was from them heart and not with no conditions. Anywho, no, with all of that said and done, we're just hoping that the adjustments, especially for grandma, because I've seen where Mara was saying that he may just make a kitchen on the outside, a muddy kitchen. I want to call it a muddy kitchen. It doesn't have to be mud. It can be made from bricks, blocks, bricks, whatever, bricks, blocks. Um, that they want to make a kitchen for her on the outside so she can be there cooking on the outside, just like in Congrats Mom's home. Because there are times even if you want to make hot water, because remember there's no hot water in the house yet. Um, which I don't see that as a challenge because there are solar water heater that you can even string through even a window and connect it, or through a hole and connect it through the head of the shower direct and shower. But if you want to boil some water to take a shower, it's not that you're going to bathe in a whole a whole drum of hot water. But if you want to, in most cases, like we see where Congress mom would put the pot on the outside and make water for showering and so on and so forth. Like honestly, guys, I always say thank you to the storytellers, the ones who brought the story to the streets. Because for the likes like the likes of Marwa and Dee and Devi and them village life, because not that I don't know how certain things work, but I learn a lot of things. Um, Maybe I would be here wondering how they do this, how they get this done, even though that is just their village is just a drop in the bucket compared to the entire. They can't speak for the whole of Kenya. They can't speak for the whole of Africa because people are doing things very different or maybe just similar. But I'm speaking for the stories that are brought to us. It give me a deeper insight as to what a village life in Africa, rural Africa looks like. And thank you guys. We can't say thank you enough. You understand? In a real life. Thank you. So we've seen where Marwa was saying that he wanted to do a kitchen. Um, then he was talking about the roofing that was outside. But I remember he said that, which he probably forgotten, he wanted to do a house for the goats. So I don't know how this is gonna work. Is either they're gonna maintain one of the muddy house in the back for the goats, or they're gonna create a small pen for the goats. But the goats need to be in an environment where they can be locked away so they don't steal them, because people can still jump the wall and steal them. People could still jump that wall and steal them if they want. Believe me, they can. Because when you're locked in your house and in deep sleep, especially how the compound is large, you don't know telling what is going on the outside, and don't nobody gonna come outside in the dark to look what's going on. So back to the roofing material and the goat house, or the house for the goat versus the kitchen versus Daniel's living condition. Oh my God. I don't know who's gonna take on that task. I don't know, because in a real life you can't fix everything. And as per how we've seen Daniel helping and moving around, just Daniel just might have to use that guest room. I don't know, because as far as I'm concerned, he was left alone also. Because he was, and then Daniel, I'm seeing some little things, and I want to bring it to the front of the class this morning. I noticed that you were saying in somebody's channel that your channel was hacked. And then in another video somewhere, or a post, you said something about the channel not being able to monetize. I don't want to stray too far from what I'm about to say, but Daniel, guys, if I'm wrong, I want you to drop to comment in the comment section and correct me. If I'm not wrong, I think it was Nico Buddha's Nico Buddha. No. Not Nika Buddha. Nika Buddha don't be in those things. What's the other one name? Can't remember his name. The one that is with close to my Yugono right now. I can't remember his name. He speaks very fast and loud. Okay. It was on his channel. How can I be forgetting his name? On his channel, and Daniel was saying something about the channel being hacked. I think that's even the title of the video. And then I saw a comment at a post on Daniel's thing about channels something and not being able to monetize. Which one is not being able to monetize? Which one was hacked? What is what? And I'm gathering all of this because when Marwa went to see where the little guy was getting the fish from, when the little guy brought Marwa to the river to see where he was fishing, and he asked Daniel, where is he living? Before all of that, Daniel was going to every home, every building structure that is in that vicinity. When he went up to the house where the lady was, I thought that was where he was living. Even Marwa said, "Oh, this is where you. Oh, okay. So then, where are you staying?" And then when they went further down, he showed him. And I don't know if it's a language barrier, but even Marwa himself was having great difficulty up until it was the yesterday's video, which would have been Monday's video. It was in yesterday's video when we really saw where Daniel was staying. And that's a whole heap of days after the fact. This was on the second trip there before he could have shown where really was he staying. Remember when he showed um the house that was padlocked, and he said over there, but it's locked. I used to stay here. This was where I was left. Something like that. I was watching, and I was really confused, and I was like, not are you not wanting to show, are you ashamed of where you're staying, or you're not really, why are you not being truthful? Show us where you're staying. Are you ashamed? In this case, don't no need to be, because then this is your moment. Shine. Shine. It was until yesterday, which would have been Monday's video, before Daniel could have officially shown where he's sleeping. And remember now, when they were going to the fish, the river, they passed the house where the little boy's mother, and he even said that the mother disappeared. The little boy mother disappeared. Masageso is the name of the little boy. Masageso. No, that little shack with the holes in the roof, numerous, I call them stargazers, because at night you would be interacting with the night sky through those holes. Hmm. The moon would be peeping through there, and the stars would be smiling down through those holes. So back to the roofing situation, you know, I know that Mara would make a good decision, and I know that by now, which today is Wednesday, by now, you know, someone would have seen that video, and hopefully reached out and be able to help, because that's not Daniel's house, actually. But maybe Daniel is comfortable there. That house is Masageso's house. That's where Masageso sleeps. Because the other section is where the mother stays. But my thing is that I mean, the African culture is different, so I shouldn't even question that. Why put that little boy out there? I mean, for all I know, he could be eaten by a lion. There's no lion in the village in these times, but you never know. You never know. Could be even eaten by a hyena, because I'm sure that some kind of animals can even stow away at some point. Because when they get hungrier, they will prowl. You understand? Anyways, it's far from those days when they used to be when animals used to be all over. I know they struggle with monkeys and stuff like that because I seen an adjacent village where women still would toss stones at the monkeys when they're rooting up whatever they plant. There's a village close by that I saw. It was Gintu's channel, and he went to a neighboring village, and the women were struggling with the monkeys. So wildlife still roams in the village. But anyways, it's tradition for boys, I was made to understand in the culture, to be placed in a room by themselves. Because if we look back at it, where Marwa was when they were living, where Davy is building his house, he had a separate room where he was sleeping with the cattle. So he was somehow protecting them, while Dee had a room by herself. Well, it's basically and the parents was off. So it's a long house. But I'm speaking to the fact that Masageso little shack is out in the middle of the yard, standing by itself. Anyway, my concern in the whole situation is that why was Daniel not wanting to show exactly where he was staying from the first attempt when they went there to see where the river was where the fishes were being caught? I was concerned. And why? And another thing I said, why is he saying that the channel was hijacked? Was the channel really hijacked? Or the channel just had too many things on it to be monetized? There, when I first saw Daniel's channel, there was a lot of different things on that channel, and I was saying to myself, okay, well, he was trying. At least he was trying to. I thought he was the one who was doing those skits. So the channel, he probably don't know that he would have had to clean up the channel before it could have got monetized again. Anyhow, as you live, you learn, and these things, I don't know, I don't understand, because I even remember Marwa talking about Claude Joseph being able to help with, which surprises me. Claude Joseph being able to help with something with the channel. What's the issue? I'm feeding off of this because I saw the post and his I'm actually just questioning the whole thing, and questioning why the shady, because you have to understand that once you're around Marwa, and he's and you're trying, and he's good with you, you have to be clear for the relationship to work, because once people start to find out, so you're shady, you know things will not go good for you. So all I'm saying is to say that make sure that you're speaking the truth. And I'm basing this based on the post that I saw on his community tab. You understand? And also based off of the fact that he was shenaniganing and not wanting to show exactly where he sleeps. And I was even saying to myself, I wonder if he was doing that out of security. That crossed my mind too, guys. I was saying, I wonder if out of fear of, you know, his rightful position being revealed. At this point, it is either like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know. The house was built for Brian and his grandma, and maybe, people might not want for him to be there. But he, as far as I'm concerned, is as if he doesn't really have anybody at this point. So I just hope that he can be helped, because I'm honestly to God, I'm shocked. I'm totally in shock seeing that the little boy would have to be sleeping in. I mean, I thought that Brian's shack was bad, but Brian's shack was standing in place except for maybe a few holes in the to the ground, maybe one or two holes to the ground where the mouse probably the, the rats probably had eaten out, or the mud fell off. Brian's Brian's house was way better than Masagesa's little shack. It's rickety, it's unfinished, basically just falling apart. And if that's where Daniel is staying, whether it's by choice or by the fear of him being alone down in the bottom end, or the place is just not good anymore, I don't know. Aye, guys, I don't know, but I hope that they will come up with an amicable solution with this whole situation, honestly. Now, guys, let's move to the final story of the day. Yesterday, some of you may have seen me posted on my community tab that Gintu came out to say that he did a video yesterday, a wild out, me say a wild out video yesterday, coming like an animal escaping from a circus. You know, when them capture these animals to do circus show and them escape. That's how he was behaving yesterday. First of all, he was threatening that any there's litigation taking place. I don't know what litigation before taking place. And anybody that uses his content, they're going to pay. And I'm saying to myself, you're out here talking about people and calling them by name, but yet you're threatening people who use your content. You got to be kidding me, boy. One for one does no harm. Always remember that. Um, and a bunch of other things. But the one I swept those things under the rug. The one thing that stood with me was what I made the post about. When he said that Murimi, he got a call from Murimi, and Murimi, in that call, Murimi confessed to him that David Jr. came and told them that between himself, which is Murimi, and Halima, they should cry, cry. They should cry, cry, cry very hard, cry bad, loud, make a fight, make a fuss. And he paid them 5,000 apiece. And in this cry, and with this fight, people are going to support them. So basically, in a nutshell, allegedly, Murimi called him and told him that David Jr. paid them to come to the camera and cry 5,000 apiece, Kenyan shilling, to come to the camera and make a show for his supporters so they can build Halima a house. I couldn't help. I'm so sorry. I couldn't help because the first thing that struck me was if that's the case, then it means that you, Gintu, might have done the same thing with your love interest, where former love interest that you chase out and is now almost about to give birth, and it's been built a beautiful house. Land was purchased and it's been built a beautiful. So you also, because further on in the conversation, he was saying something that it is a game and you have to know how to play the game and you have to know how to do these things. It's a script and it's scripted and something. Listen, guys, it's not going to be his exact words, but that is my understanding based on what he's saying, that it is all scripted. And if you don't know how to play the game, you're going to get left behind because it is a game that has been highly played to play on the emotions of outsiders. In a say outsiders. Play on the emotions of people so they can feel sorry for you, do things, chase them away. beat them, fight them. And when they feel sorry for you, they will start the donations. What a bad set of people. Gintu, you are the one that is leading the core. You are the leader, as far as I'm concerned, in this. Because when you cannot get your way, yesterday was a perfect example of how you behave once things are not working in your favor. And you know why I'm saying what I'm saying? The way how he started his content, the video, is basically like he was telling people that he cannot be stopped and he will not be stopped and nobody can lock him down. If they think that he will be shut off and shut away and lock away, well, they have another thing coming because he is the village reporter and he's here to set things straight and tell people what is happening in the village. So it simply means that if he's like given an order, a gag order, he's gonna find means and ways to get away from under that gag order and do things because he has to eat. He has to eat. You're a bad man. You are a terrible character. Mm-mm. And then to top it off, he's gonna come out and tell people that there's a litigation process taking place and he's going to do what and YouTube when and then at the end of it all he's going to say, oh, YouTube allows reaction. So you are actually wrapping that thing around your own neck. You're tying yourself up. If YouTube allows reaction, you're simply saying that then anything goes because people can't stop reacting on you then. Same like how you're reacting on others. That's basically what you're saying. Because YouTube allow it. But what about the laws on the ground in your land? The way how you do what you do and when you hook up stuff with others to create problems for others. YouTube allows it, but the laws of your land, it is who will decide in the end. Thank you guys for kicking it with me if you've reached this far. Be sure to leave a comment on the comment section. Leave your thoughts and sentiments right there. Make sure that you like the video before you exit. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.